Tomorrow, the Ohio National Guard will be on campus administering COVID-19 tests, but the decision has been met with some uncertainty how you can take part.
The university announcing details today of the 2021 spring schedule, finals week, remote instruction, and when your spring break will be, all within the hour.
In Ohio, unemployment claims are on the rise for a second week in a row, but benefits are starting to run low. When those filing, we'll start to see the assistance.
And tonight, TV2 is looking into the disconnect between colon cancer and the African American community. Why doctors believe they are more affected. TV2 News starts right now.
It is.
This is TV2 News.
Good Thursday evening, Portage County. Thank you for being with us tonight. The city of Kent has announced its first COVID-19 death. That's where we'll begin. I'm Lexi Biasi.
And I'm Connor Steffen. In a press release, the City of Kent Health Department confirmed there was a death, but it will not be released with any identifiable information to respect the family of the victim.
And the Kent Health Department urges residents to wear masks when out, practice social distancing, and wash their hands.
And as the flu season approaches in the United States, health experts are warning that the addition of another respiratory illness on top of the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic could overburden the healthcare system.
And we are now joined by our reporter, Gianna DaPra, about what doctors want you to know and if students plan to get the shot. Gianna.
Yes, the flu season is here, and this week is the start of the flu shots. With the pandemic still in the mix, getting the flu shot is more important than ever. I talked to the Kent City Health Department and students across campus to find out why it's important and if people are getting the shot. Take a look.
With the possibility and the expectation that flu is going to circulate along with COVID during the flu season, you definitely want to have some level of protection.
With the havoc of the pandemic still lingering as flu season approaches, officials say getting your flu shot this year is more important than ever.
Getting the flu shot is important every year, but with COVID circulating, you can get them at the same time. It's important to have some level of protection.
In a report from CVS Health, it says that 66% of people intend on getting the shot this year, compared to the 49% who reported on doing so last year.
I am going to get the flu shot this year. I've just been raised. I've always had my flu shots and I've always been vaccinated.
Kent students plan on getting the flu shot as COVID cases rise on campus. But one thing to keep in mind is that this shot will not fight off COVID-19.
I am getting the flu shot. I'm getting it because a lot of the health officials are saying you need it because you don't want to get both the flu and COVID. It's kind of a disaster if you get that.
And not only students and young adults are urged to get the flu shot, but the elderly and people with underlying health conditions are at the top of the list.
That's the age group that's most likely to be susceptible to the most severe symptoms and potentially death. So certainly the people who are already immunocompromised and then the people who are older.
If the flu does come around harder this year, it could immensely impact the hospitals and doctors.
That would put a huge strain on our hospital systems. It would make things a lot harder for that system that's already been taxed immensely for the last 7 months or so.
Right now is the best time to get your flu shot. You can go to places like CVS Minute Clinic, DeWeese Health Center, and most pharmacies.
It's about to be a very trying time as we get into the cold weather and people go back inside and don't have the ability to go outside and eat or go on a walk or thing. So we have to continue to exercise extreme caution, especially now that we're in the fall.
Reporting for TV2 in Kent, I'm Gianna DaPra. It is important to know that getting the flu shot does not fight against COVID-19 or lessen the chance of getting it. You need to still be keeping up with the CDC guidelines and the Flash's Safe 7 to fight COVID and the flu. If you're feeling sick, Kent is starting free testing on campus tomorrow to 500 random students and to those who want to get tested. Go to kentwire.com for more information. Reporting in Franklin Hall, I'm Gianna DaPra.
Thanks, Gianna. Kent State and the City of Kent have partnered with the Ohio National Guard to bring the Ohio Pandemic Testing Team to campus tomorrow. There will be free testing for high-risk students from 1 to 6 p.m. at the Center for Philanthropy and Alumni Engagement, and all you need is your student ID. Now, we were the first to tell you about the mandatory quarantine in the Clark and Centennial Court A residence halls. Every student in these dorms will be tested, as well as an additional 500 randomly selected. The university says this is the first of many testing opportunities.
And more from right here on campus. The university announced its spring plans for the remainder of the school year in 2021. Amongst the biggest changes to the school year, also highlighted in an email sent out by the provost's office, students amongst the biggest changes ahead of a new semester. Spring break will be pushed back 2 weeks to the end of April. And just like this semester, the remainder of spring classes following spring break will resume with the remote instruction. Finals will also be conducted remotely. The spring break course schedule will be available to students October 5th. And the school's provost hunt may soon come to a close. President Todd Dyken announcing 3 final candidates in contention for the position. The finalists were recommended by an 18-member search committee from a nationwide pool of applicants. Now, the university is looking to you guys, the students, to give your input. Let's meet the candidates. First, we have Professor and Faculty of Agriculture and College Sustainability Advisor, Teresa Balser. She is from the University of Dalhouse. She's from Dalhouse University. And your next candidate.
Let's meet her. We have Melody Tancurley, and she is a professor of special education here at Kent State University, so she would be someone local that would be looking for that position. And next we have...
And next, again, we have someone from Iowa, the University of Iowa, the former executive vice president and provost of that university. She is a professor of statistics and actuarial science and biostatistics.
And to access the candidates' public presentations and give input in a survey, you can check Dyken's email sent to your kent.edu account.
Good evening, Portage County. I'm Kyle Vasil with your weather. So currently in Kent, it is 50 degrees and it feels like 50. The dew point is 32.7 and the wind is coming from the east-southeast direction at about 5 miles per hour. Now if we look at right now in Ohio, kind of like in the if we're going down south and around Worcester, it's around 51 degrees. In Canton, it's around 53 degrees. In Mansfield, it's about 55 degrees. And as we go up north, it gets a little warmer towards Cleveland and Ashtabula. It's 57. And in Sandusky, it's 59. So as we see right here, there is, we have some storms coming in, like kind of around, it's getting close, it's creeping up around on the Akron area right here, and it's going to be near Kent probably starting tomorrow. And that's all for now. Stick with us to hear our 7-day forecast after the break. Back to you, Lexi.
New unemployment claims in Ohio ticked up for the second straight week last week, even as the number of continued jobless claims fell. The Ohio Department of Job and Family Services has cited continued jobless claims as a sign of whether people are returning to work after coronavirus shutdowns earlier this year. Since mid-March, almost 2 million unemployment claims were filed in Ohio, more than the number of claims filed during the last 4 years combined.
And also 2 people charged in connection to the death of Cleveland Police Detective James Skrinovitz and an informant were arraigned in Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court this afternoon. 27-year-old Antonio Darby and 24-year-old Brittany Cremens have been charged for their alleged roles in the shooting. During their arraignment, both pled not guilty. They were both given a $5,000 bond and are scheduled to appear in court for their pretrial hearing on October 8th. And after the break, the details on protests that happened outside of the debate on Tuesday evening. We have all you need to know.
And when Black Panther star Chadwick Boseman died this summer, it was a shock to Marvel fans worldwide. But his death reveals a bigger issue in the Black community. TV2 News will be back in 90 seconds.
After all, you made her college years happen. Opening that education savings account when she was little. Spearheading a campus tour. And another, and another, and another, and another. Bam! Deciphering financial aid. She was like, what? But now she's like, you aced planning for college. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Welcome back. The state of Ohio is typically considered a red GOP state historically, predicting elections. But after Tuesday's debate, many are considering Ohio a toss-up state for the upcoming 2020 election. Well, what does that mean? The advertisements you typically see might look a little different. Biden has already added an additional $4 million to his budget in the Buckeye State. Election day is November 3rd. And a historic event in Cleveland 2 nights ago, the first presidential debate of 2020.
Our own Rachel Gross was outside of the debate hall on Tuesday and is here in studio with more details on what the scene was like. Hi, Rachel.
Thanks, guys. Ahead of the debate on Tuesday evening, protesters took to the streets of Cleveland to make their voices heard. Outside of the Cleveland Museum of Art, a Black Lives Matter protest was held just at nightfall. I was there reporting for TV2. Here are the details you need to know. A Black Lives Matter protest was held in Cleveland last night, just ahead of the presidential debate. The protesters met at the Cleveland Museum of Art, and organizers hope that attendees do more than march.
It's good to march to let people know to mobilize, but what we are is organizers, and organizing to actually change the policies that we have in place, because it's not working for a lot of people. So we're encouraging everybody to vote and to get in these positions of power so we can create the world that we want to live in, create a good world.
One protester spoke on how she's not happy with the choice of candidates to vote on for this election.
I'm not alone in that feeling. Pretty much everybody that I know, we all hate Biden, but we hate Trump so much more because he's done so much damage. So coming out here today, I'm basically protesting the fact that there's not a candidate that I'm happy to root for or that I'm proud of voting for.
I also spoke with an independent candidate who says he could be the one to help bring people together.
The reason why I'm running for president is because we need a unifier. Somebody to be a bridge to knock down all these walls that have been put up for years. That kept us divided. They kept us afraid of talking about race in a way that make you feel comfortable and me feel comfortable at the same time. Not pointing fingers at anybody who has difference of opinion, not fully understanding about the plight about African Americans. African Americans, Black Lives Matter needs a voice.
It was so beautiful to see people unifying together, and that, everybody here was involved, and people are going to stay diligent, no matter what, barricades they try to put, people are going to represent.
Reporting in Cleveland for TV2 News, I'm Rachel Gross. For more debate coverage of every angle, tune into Portage Pulse Friday night at 7 p.m. right here on TV2. Reporting for TV2, I'm Rachel Gross.
Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're gonna look at our hourly forecast. So starting at around 8 o'clock p.m., it's gonna be around 64 degrees with some showers. And going into 10, it's going to be in the 50s. And look, right over here at around midnight, it's going to be about 55 degrees with a 50% chance of rain. So right now in Ohio, it's it's 55 in Dayton. It's get a little warmer down south. As we go up north, it's getting a little colder. It's 57 in Columbus and around 51 in Akron. So tomorrow, it's going to be about 62 degrees, and we're going to have a low of 46, and it's going to be partly cloudy. And the winds will be coming from the south at about 8 miles per hour. That's all for the weather. Thank you for tuning into Thursday night's weather forecast, and have a nice evening. Back to you, Lexi.
When it comes to many cancers, some groups are more affected than others. Colon cancer is no different, disproportionately affecting African Americans at a 20% higher rate than other races. I spoke to doctors about the disconnect. When Hollywood superstar Chadwick Boseman died, it was a shock to the Black community, but revealed a much bigger problem: colon cancer disparity.
It is abnormal cell growth, specifically in the large intestine.
Colon cancer affects over 100,000 people each year, and it's becoming more common in young African Americans.
Also, risk factors related to colon cancer are things like obesity, which is a higher percentage of obesity in the African American community.
The risk factors list is long, such as vitamin D intake, diet, and genetic makeup. But in many cases, it's knowing your family's history.
A first-degree relative who's had colon cancer or related cancer, then you definitely want to start getting colonoscopies early.
Doctors say you should already be aware if cancer is in your family history. And if you experience symptoms like bloody stool, abdominal pain, or unexplained weight loss, you should reach out to your doctor right away. But for some groups like African Americans, that might not be the easiest choice.
Things like colonoscopies, that means you have to have good access, good coverage, insurance.
Experts say they hope Boseman's death will encourage more in the African American community to be proactive about their health.
Given what has happened in this country for Black Americans, George Floyd, Jacob Blake, Breonna Taylor, and then overlaying Chadwick Boseman's death on that, it makes it even more grief-striking to Black Americans. At the heart of all of this are the social determinants of health and systemic racism and the consequences of systemic racism.
If you believe you might have colon cancer or just have health concerns, doctors want you to know, no matter what, there are avenues that won't turn you away.
There's a whole network of community health centers, around the country that see everyone, regardless of their ability to pay.
Reporting in Kent, Ohio, I'm Lexi Biasi. Drug overdoses killed more Ohioans in May than in any month in at least 14 years, a potential side effect of the coronavirus pandemic. Preliminary statistics from the Ohio Department of Health's mortality database shows at least 532 Ohioans died of an overdose in May alone. Officials are not particularly surprised by the statistics, citing that overdoses often skyrocket in times of despair and economic uncertainty. If you are struggling with addiction, call the Portage County Addiction Helpline at the number on the bottom of your screen.
And the coronavirus pandemic has rocked America's economy, leaving millions now without the income they need to make rent. Many families are on the brink of losing everything, with evictions still being carried out despite a national moratorium. CNN's Young Lei reports.
In Columbus, Ohio, the City Convention Center
All rise.
is now the courtroom.
And you're occupying this property?
This space chosen to socially distance crowds during the pandemic. 118 evictions are on the docket today, among them Umu Conte.
I work in the nursing home. When I get infected with the COVID.
Conte says she contracted the virus in June at the nursing home where she worked. The U.S. resident, an immigrant from Sierra Leone, was out of work for 2 months. She's now working as a home health care aide, making $12 an hour. It's not enough to pay the rent she owes.
They give me 30 days. I'm just thinking about my kids. Where did I go with my kids?
Everywhere you turn, a different face shares an economic plight that landed them here.
And why did you do that?
For non-payment of rent.
Cases filed against tenants despite a national moratorium on most evictions until the end of the year. In Columbus, financial aid and pro bono lawyers sit on the wings of Magistrate Kirk Lindsay's eviction court.
These are certainly unprecedented times from my perspective.
Working to get that moratorium information to tenants, like the Turner family.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just scary for her because this is like our first apartment, like we're new really to the adulthood.
They're new parents, afraid to comfort their 8-month-old daughter in the public air in the pandemic.
Everything was going so perfect until it just wasn't, you know.
Both of you lost your jobs.
Yeah.
That was in March. Rodney Turner just got a new job 2 weeks ago, but they're months behind on rent.
It's just really overwhelming and scary because we don't know, what's going to happen in there. They could say we got to move out in a week, and we don't know.
The tenants we meet today won't know if they can stay in their homes until yet another court appearance next week. Umu Conte heads home. A single mother, the healthcare worker asks friends to care for her children day to day while she cares for the elderly.
This is Ramatu. This is Khadija. It's my daughter.
She is grateful for her small home.
My apartment is nice, as you can see.
She just needs to find a way to stay. Kyung Law, CNN, Columbus, Ohio.
If you were outside this morning, the sky might have been a little brighter than usual. Many Ohio residents saw an apparent meteor flash, and it was caught on several Ohio Department of Transportation cameras. As you can see, cameras didn't catch the meteor itself, but you are able to see the flash, which only lasts about a second. The American Meteor Society received over 260 reports of what they are calling a fireball event. And just about now, I'm sure we could all use a vacation, but a cruise will not be one of them. The CDC is issuing more guidelines on ship travel. We'll be right back.
High school football playoffs are almost here, and were the Indians able to fend off elimination? Stay tuned to find out.
We might root for different teams, but we all respect the game. And we can all root for each other when we wear a mask. Mask up, America.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma. I have a mentor, and she convinced me to continue my education. No one receives a diploma alone. If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, go get it. You can do it.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Welcome back. The CDC is extending a no-sail order, meaning passengers' operations on cruise ships are suspended through October 31st. This includes any ship with the capacity to carry at least 250 passengers in U.S. waters. The previous order expired on Wednesday. The CDC says since March 1st, they have seen more than 3,600 reported cases of COVID-19 or COVID-like illnesses on cruise ships in the U.S. waters. A federal health official says that the CDC wanted to extend the order into next year, but failed to convince the White House to do it.
Hi, my name is Ian Herrmann. Head football coach Sean Lewis spoke on the upcoming shortened season and what they are looking forward to.
It's a great opportunity. Obviously, we ended on a high note and carrying that through to our off-season program and everything that's transpired. There's some real expectations that are on the program, which is what we want. If you don't have expectations going into a season, you're not doing things the right way. So our kids have put forward tremendous work and have gotten to this place to where there's some more respect when you talk about Kent State football, which is great. And to have them have an opportunity to go out and compete and live up to those expectations day in and day out, they've embraced, and we're looking forward to the opportunity when that comes.
OHSAA football playoffs are right around the corner. Games will begin next week. On Friday will be Divisions 1, 2, 3, and 7 games, and on Saturday will be Divisions 4, 5, and 6 games. This will be the first season where every team makes the playoffs and will be seeded based on coaches' picks. In the PTC, James A. Garfield will host Southeast tomorrow. Southeast is coming off a tough loss and is looking to bounce back and finish 4-2. Garfield is looking to go 6-0 and is hoping to lock up one of the top seeds in the region. Last night was game 2, and we'll pick it up in the top of the 4th, and Karinchak pitches to Gio Urshela, and Urshela says goodbye, sends that into deep left center field, making it 5-4 Yankees, and Karinchak struggling again, and that seemed to be a theme for Indians pitchers. But now we'll pick it up bottom 7, Luplo into pinch hit for the red-hot Josh Naylor, and he sends that deep to center field, over the center fielder's head, off the wall. And Sandy Alomar looking like a genius here. Carlos Santana scores. Franmil Reyes all the way from first, tying the game 8-8. Top 9 now. Brad Hand into pitch, already gave up the tying run, gives up this go-ahead run up the middle, 10-9 Yankees, and they wouldn't look back from there. Bottom 9, Aroldis Chapman is into pitch, and he will close the game and gets Austin Hedges to strike out. Yankees win 10-9 and win the series 2-0. That is all we have for sports for today. I'm Ian Herrmann. Back to you guys at the desk.
In October is Relationship Abuse Awareness Month, and groups on campus are hosting events all month long for students who need support. Where to go if you need help.
And now, would you like to spend the night in hell? And yes, you heard me right. You'll never forget this Airbnb. TV2 will be back in 90 seconds.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
I feel like her heartbeat is like same speed as mine. And I think we have this like deep connection, this heart connection in her heart, that there's room for me and Mom. When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer. It's a sensory thing. It's a thing with Asperger's.
She's really good with Anya. I've seen adults react to my daughter when she has meltdowns, like she's from a different planet. And this little animal just sat next to my child and was just like, you know, it's gonna be cool.
She's my superhero.
Good job, Kitty Cat.
When we adopted Lucky, we discovered all the wonderful things that make her unique.
Lucky's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly she's pure love.
Welcome back. The Kent State Center for Sexual and Relationship Violence Support Services is rolling out plans for Relationship Abuse Awareness Month. On average, nearly 20 people per minute are physically abused by an intimate partner. The center starts with events tomorrow at their advocacy open house via Zoom or Painting the Rock on Monday at noon. All Zoom codes and passwords will be posted on their social media sites.
And that is all we have for you tonight. Be sure to tune in tomorrow to the Flashcast at 11 a.m. I'm Connor Steffen.
And I'm Lexi Biasi. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great night, Portage County.
nervous? Okay.